Hello, my name is Jason Miller, founder of AspenNow Solutions, and we're about to unlock the power of ServiceNow. Up to 319 subscribers, I'm happy to report, and 8,500 views. So I want to thank everyone out there. If you can subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Also, I wanted to announce that we did receive a platinum sponsorship from Valiant Solutions in Washington, D.C., and sponsorship opportunities are available. So today we are going to be talking about guided tours, and where we left off was the previous video. We had fixed steps 1 through 4 in our guided tour that we had cooking here. This was SLA information was the title of it, and just a refresher to get to this screen, ED space tour, and then this would come up. We'd click on SLA information. That would take us to this screen. And I think I noted in the last one also, name column, order column, two different things. Order is going to be more important in terms of the sequence of the line items here. And the steps are just pretty much going to name themselves as you drag and drop. So if you wedge in steps in the middle of the process, it'll create a higher number, but the order will go up sequentially. So like if you see right here, step 7 is all the way at the bottom. So it's not an exact order, even though we have the correct order going right here. So I just wanted to note that. And one thing I added also was this content column, because this kind of helps me with the comments that I put in there. So that way I kind of have it in my mind which one I'm looking for, because I find that the numerical values aren't really going to help me that much, except for maybe the beginning one or the first one, of course. So I really wanted to know this right here. I find this is very critical to have this up. Okay, so if we want to edit it, we click Edit with Designer, and then it would bring us into here. And if you recall the last time we had a real mess, I'll let you refer to the video, but basically the first 4 or 5 steps is what we took care of. So we can just go through that quickly, and I'll hit play to show you the things that I did with the tool for this guided tour. So it'll open up the screen, and then it'll bring us to the SLA definition page. And I also did auto launch for this, so it'll automatically go into it, or just initiate it. So that way the user doesn't have to go to the help menu. They would go here, and then they would appear at the bottom if they wanted to, if you wanted to set up that way without auto launch. So now we have, please click on the hamburger to proceed. So this is a little bit more descriptive than the last one we had. Now we have this one here, fill in a name and hit tab. So if I type in test, hit tab, it moves right to the next one. Then I put in, if you recall last time I just had like the YouTube link, but instead I made this a hyperlink right here. And also I'll show you in just a second what I did with this one. So when you click on it, it actually brings you to another tab, and then it plays the video. So I found that to be very helpful. And what I did with it was I went into step 2 here. So basically if you were to go from, let's see here, right here into our steps, you'd click step 2, this tab would come up, and then I just added this hyperlink right here, insert added link. And then one thing I did, hold on here, let's see if this works now. There we go. So I put in the URL, and then what I wanted the target to be was a new window. Because one thing I found is when I was doing the other options, for some reason it wasn't working. So again, I really haven't had a lot of experience doing this target right here, but I found that through experimentation, this new window one did work. But again, this is something you'd probably talk to a developer who's more experienced in your organization about. Just ask them, what or her, what the proper solution is for your organization. So then I'll just get rid of that window. Click next here. It'll take us to the next step. And then one thing I wanted to show you here was the placement. So the arrow's right here, but this was probably the best we could do for this. And then as you see here, the arrow pretty much lined up this a little bit the same way, but underneath. And that's one thing that I covered in the last segment, was basically that when you go to placement down here, all the options are going to be available. So from this screen right here, it doesn't really know which ones will fit on the screen. So that's why you have to go back here, because if you click on, I think it's 5, right? 5, you're going to see some are grayed out. Now, if I do to the left or to the right, we might have spacing that just doesn't look good to the user. So they're probably going to be wondering like what you're talking about. So in fact, we can change this one right now if we want to and save it. And what I'll do is I'll close out of this and then we can play it again. So let's try this again. And I'll try to move through these very, very quickly. And it should go right into it. All right, click on the hamburger. We'll hit test, tab, hit next, next. So this one isn't so bad. We did it to the left, and this might actually be better for this one. So we can consider that one fixed. And then what do we have here? Number 6. So this would be on the retroactive start. So this one's pertaining to retroactive start. So this might be a great example here of one that we would want to have a little bit closer, because retroactive start is here, but this call out right here is all the way to the right. So that might not be so intuitive for our users. So let's see here, another one. So I guess this is for the cancel condition. Oh no, this one's for the cancel condition, I guess. And then we would hit next. And then one thing I noted the last time was if you're going to do a transition to another tab, and that's why I wanted to use this example here, is they have to click on the tab in order to move it over here. And then also one thing to consider is when you click on the reset condition link, if you tell them to do that, they need to be prompted, I would say, in the actual field itself that's going to take them to a new window. So you don't want to confuse your users otherwise, or if you do, then the guided tour kind of defeats its own purpose. So we'll hit done, and that took us through the entire tour there. So this brings us to the help menu here, which if the user were to open, we'll see here we have 2 different tours. So if you didn't have auto launch enabled, this is where they would come to perform the tour. And I think the benefit of the tour over just regular help is that it's interactive, and you can pretty much put your own organization's touches on whatever it is you want to have with the tour, or have it, or whatever the approach is or the goal of it. You can have it specific to your organization's needs. So that was just a couple of things that I noted. So then, if we wanted to go back here, and let's say we wanted to fix one of these, like number 8. Let's say we want to do a different shape. So then we could try above and click save. And one thing I noted last time was that, remember that these ones here that have a different color, see how they're in black and white? That means that they're in a different tab. They're not displayed on the screen. So you'll see here 6, 7, and 8 disappear when we move over to the reset condition tab. So those are just a couple of the observations that I had regarding the tours. And let's see here, we want to fix 8, so now we want to play it again, and maybe we can walk through it just one more time. And before we do that, I'm going to leave here. I just wanted to bring up Valiant Solutions homepage. This is our one platinum sponsor that we have now. As I said before, we have more sponsorship opportunities, and they're very cost-effective rates. So if your organization is looking to sponsor a YouTube channel, we're open for business. So let's just go back here to SLA definition, and we'll go through this one more time. And one approach that I always take when testing is to obviously perform many tests, but also to attempt to break the system. As I showed you in the previous video, when you went to this screen right here, for example, and you changed to a placement that wasn't shaded out, or excuse me, that was grayed out in this screen right here, that caused a major problem. So that's one thing to take note of. So actually the approach should be just try to break it, and always make mistakes in dev is one of the things that I preach. So it looks like we're going to go through here, and that was our change to number 8. So this looks a little bit better, I think. It's pointing to the cancel condition, and then it'll take us over to the tab. And again, we could fix this link if we want to. We can have them We could place it some other way if we want to. And maybe that'll be a homework assignment for you all. You can try to set one up on your own. So if I click on that, it does move the tour. And here we are, we're finished now. Okay, so that's just a little bit about guided tours. I find that, like I said, these are much better than using the help. But again, that's up to your organization. If you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. My name is Jason Miller, founder of Aspen Now Solutions, and we've just unlocked the power of ServiceNow.